Welcome to the shed. I'm Syd, Mackie's on the camera, and today we are going to be learning how to do a lever bleed on Shimano brakes. She's just sitting on my head. For this task, you will need Allen keys, Shimano hydraulic mineral oil, a special cup. What is this called? Shimano bleeding funnel, non-chlorinated brake cleaner or isopropyl alcohol, paper towels. Lever bleeds, I would say, are one of the first, slightly more advanced mechanical things that I ever did. I think learning how to do a lever bleed before you do a full bleed is a great idea, just because it's very simple and it kind of demystifies the process and makes it a little bit less scary. And it's often all you need to do to fix your problem.
What is your problem if you need to bleed a brake?
If you need to bleed your brakes, that means that there is air somewhere in this hydraulic line. The most common symptom of that is your lever will be pulling in farther than you want, will feel kind of squishy, might pull all the way to the bar, especially when you first start riding. You might feel like you have to pump up your brakes. If you ever hear anyone saying, I really felt like I needed to pump my brakes all the way down, that probably means they need a brake bleed.
Also, if you compare one side to the other and they feel real different.
This one feels better though. It feels like it pulls and then it stops.
Usually if one of your brakes is gonna feel better, it's gonna be your front one because the line is shorter, like the hose is shorter. And so especially if your front one feels worse than your back one, then you know something weird is going on with the front one. So you know that you need to do a brake bleed. Are you gonna do a lever bleed or a full bleed? How do you know which one to do?
For this bike, we know these brakes are fairly new. We know they've been bled. So most likely the fluid is actually still pretty clean and in pretty good shape. So we probably just need to burp some bubbles out. However, if we were to open it up and there's just really black, awful fluid coming out, that would be a sign that we needed to do a full bleed. Let's do it. So the first thing I'm gonna do is...
Oh, you forgot the first step.
How did I forget the first step?
You didn't mark where the lever was. I'm just giving Syd a hard time. It's not totally necessary, but usually what we recommend is mark where the brake lever is so that when you're finished, you can put it back to the same spot without having to remeasure everything.
This is especially directed towards people who are as anal retentive about their cockpit setup as Mackie is. The first real step is to make this lever flat, essentially.
Parallel to the ground, yeah?
Otherwise known as flat. Nobody says the earth is parallel to the ground. They say the earth is flat. That's a thing. There's conspiracy theories, flat earthers.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next thing we're gonna do is undo this bolt, which in this case is going to be a 2.5. I'm not sure if that's true for all the Shimano brakes, but... So this is a very important part of the process, is you take this and you put it somewhere where you can find it again. Another important thing is that you make sure that that little rubber washer right there is on the screw and not still in the brake. If you pop this open and you can't see any fluid in there, yeah, you probably need a brake bleed. Where does it go? I think it's probably because the pads have worn out. Oh. And so the piston's pushed in more, so there's more space. So then you screw on the cup, not too hard. This is my least favorite part.
Yeah, there you go.
Was I supposed to put fluid in first? I guess it doesn't matter.
Normally you should put fluid in first, but since we're doing a lever bleed, it doesn't matter. If you were doing a full bleed and it was gonna go into the line, you would not wanna pull out the plunger first.
Here, I'll put this back in and we'll just pour it in around that, just for appearance's sake. I feel like I should have put this fluid in before I put the cup on.
That's what you should do. Let's reset.
Rewind. Obviously not a huge deal. I've had too much coffee today. But you don't really want to accidentally pour fluid all over your brake lever.
Better to put the fluid there, then attach the cup.
Okay, I literally had way too much coffee. Now, back where we were a second ago.
Wiggle in a circle. Okay, so now what do? Pump the brake.
That's not too bad. It looks fairly clean. We'll put a clip up for contrast of what this would look like if you had super, super dirty fluid.
But you see all those bubbles coming out. That's what a lever bleed is doing, is you're basically getting the air out of the system. And since the air tends to go
up,
it's already in the lever, so wow, we're getting a lot of bubbles.
I literally couldn't see fluid.
Is it starting to feel more solid, the lever? What is it, Lils? Are you saying Syd's doing a good job brake bleeding or a bad job? You gonna tell us how it's done?
I'm not getting any more bubbles.
One thing you can do that sometimes helps is pull the lever and hold it, and then flick the hose. And in case there's any bubbles trapped in the line, that'll help them roll on up to the top. Pump again, see if you get any more.
No, actually, I think I was pretty good. I haven't had any for a while. Do you want to feel it?
Oh yeah, that feels way more solid than it did.
One super important step remains. You take this thing and you put it back before you unscrew and take this off. I'm not saying I've done that, but I'm also not saying I haven't. Now you can see the difference there.
Oh yeah, you can see fluid right there at the top. As Syd puts the screw back on, that's gonna overflow just a little bit. So Syd's grabbing a little piece of blue towel. She's gonna put it right next to that to catch that excess fluid as she puts the screw on. And then just make sure you don't get the blue towel caught in there. You don't want blue towel in your brake fluid.
We're gonna spray a little bit of brake cleaner or whatever your cleaning thing of choice on a paper towel and just get all that fluid off because you don't want mineral oil all up in everything. And then, this is a step that I feel like is often forgotten. We're going to put this back where it was. You like get on their bike and you're like, ah, shoot. And this is how to do a lever bleed in under 1 minute. First, mark the position of your brake lever. Loosen the bolt that attaches the lever to the bar and pull the lever up until it is parallel to the ground. Fill your funnel with at least 1 inch of fluid. Loosen the bolt on the top of the lever and remove both the bolt and the rubber washer. Gently screw on the funnel. Wiggle the stopper in a circle to remove. Pump the brake and watch for bubbles. If the fluid coming out of your lever is black or gray, it might be time for a full brake bleed. Flick the brake line a few times to confirm that all the air is out. Then return the stopper to the funnel and remove. Replace the bolt, holding a paper towel around it to catch any excess fluid. Use another paper towel with some brake cleaner to clean the lever. Return the lever to its original position.